it's because people had the idea, but the vision and the execution, I think a lot of times people forget that you could have an idea, but can you execute it? I envisioned a feeling, not necessarily exactly what it was going to be. I think the things that I wanted to accomplish within it was that I wanted to have a space where I could train clients, and I wanted to have an opportunity where I could make make Calistoga, give them some wellness opportunities, not just for the people, but also for the instructors. Like I see myself within the instructors that work with us, and the team members that, because I call it a team because it is a team to me. I don't even see myself as an owner. I see myself as a team player within it. And sometimes I'm obviously leading the team, but I wanted a sense of community and a sense of helping people get to their best self. So the vehicle and how we got there, I thought Calistoga Fit was going to be a way to do that, but I wasn't sure where that's going to lead. And I will say that it's evolved obviously over the years. And kind of one more thing, just to put on top of this, there was a thing I got invited to from the hospital, saying the hospital was about a talk about the blue zone. They were thinking about doing this concept where making the Up Valley, Calistoga and St. Helena blue zone, which is just kind of an overall healthy community. And hearing them talk about it, and I was like, and I walked out of that meeting, and it's like, I could do that. When I say I, it's not I, but the team, I can facilitate that. And so the things that we do, well, we have the cancer program, and we do the things with the city of Calistoga where we offer free classes and the on-demand platform, and just our gym, Calistoga Fit, and the hotel partners that we have that we do run their programs for, to employee wellness stuff that we do, kids programs, the aqua program for that's usually for most of the community that's over 60, the Boys and Girls Club. So like all those things is leading towards making this area as healthy as it possibly can. So that's kind of been the evolution of the vision. Fire away.
So, first question I have is kind of borrowing it from somebody that we might know, kind of a Tim Ferriss question.
Okay.
So, what advice would you give your, let's say, mid-20s Donavan? Yeah. He's mid-20s. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would say the first thing that comes to my head is I wouldn't necessarily give myself too much advice, because the beauty is in the process. And I think some of those roads you take and those paths you take is in the process. The thing that I it would be more in the sense of the things I'm telling myself is more continue to follow your intuition.
Mhm.
I would continue to give the credence towards that. Um, because my intuition if I really think back, I think your intuition is a combination of your past, um, something above you, spiritual or religious to whoever that is,
Yeah.
and a little bit of deja vu of the future.
Mhm.
And I think that part of it is, I would say, just continue to trust that part of it, your intuition, because deep down, if you're going the right path, and if you kind of give yourself a little space.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the other thing I would tell my younger self is that um, I'm lucky to have Jackie. Just kind of, I
You're-
think, because I think sometimes within, especially when I was younger and stuff like that, I might have uh, taken that for granted a little bit, and not crazy, but in the sense that I think the more and more we've worked together, um, we worked side by side. In previous situations are completely different jobs, but now we work together side by side in work and in home and in life. So
Yeah.
um, that is that probably be the only thing for sure I would kind of just tell
Yeah.
myself, and 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 I kind of knew it, but I think telling her more often how much I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I would say you guys are a pretty amazing team. I think that the level that you're at is definitely a high performer. So when it comes to your process and your day, how do you maintain such a high level of consistency? And so the second point to that is what does kind of your day look like?
Mhm.
And then how is, because you just don't miss.
Yeah, I will say the inspiration of that came from my dad.
Oh,
Seeing him work for many years, he was an engineer and he was also a lobbyist for a telecommunications company.
yeah,
And so his, I would say, I got my confidence from my mom, and I got the consistency and the work ethic from my dad.
yeah,
And then I think, I know I bring it back to Jackie. I think two things. She really taught me how to work hard in a way. Like my dad showed me, and then she kind of taught me. Jackie did, and more in the college sense because we met in college, and uh, I just wanted to be able to hang out with her more, and she was studying. So I was like, well, I guess I got to study more, so to hang out with you. And
yeah,
so in doing that, I learned that part of it, that the piece of being consistent, and um, so kind of going through my day, the way I can continue to be consistent. Coming back to Jackie one more time, is that her help and her work with the kids and help plugging in the holes that I can't take care of for the
yeah,
hours that I'm away at work. She can give me a stable platform. My parents gave me a stable platform to learn from and grow, and then she continued that platform to be able to give me some consistency when I come home, so I can stand on. I feel like it's hard to stand and be in a consistent point when what you come home to is not consistent.
that's an amazing point. So true.
And so, and not to say that we've never had, like, the home hasn't been up and downs, we haven't had that, but
Yeah,
within the scheme of the world, it's been very stable. And then So the way my day works, usually
Yeah.
pre-quarantine and even and still now, I'm usually up sometime between 4:30 and 5:30. And then I usually, the first thing I do is I make breakfast. So I get up, and breakfast can range from like a couple of eggs and a couple of slices of bacon
Mm-hmm.
to oatmeal, and some of it depends on what I had for dinner the night before. It was like, do I want to go
Right.
more? If I had a more saltier steak or something the night before and had some wine, and I usually come into oatmeal the next day,
Yes.
and smoothie. It's usually I take as a snack, but sometimes I might have a little bit of like a green juice in the morning also. And then while I'm eating, if I have enough time for it, I might catch up on, like, I like watching a lot of sport podcasts, talk show type stuff. And that's
Yeah.
kind of a way for me to not, it's just to take my mind off it. Another thing I like watching is interview shows or people getting interviewed.
Yes.
So business people, athletes, celebrities, um, people talking on particular topics. And
Yeah.
then, shower, get ready, head out the door. And then on the way in, I will usually listen to a podcast and I kind of use my drive because, it's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes to get over into Napa Valley from Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I just kind of, I think a lot of the things, the consistency is the communication I have with my clients, really working the schedule and making sure that the schedule fits, trying to like anticipate needs. Like that's something that's become a thing, learning from hospitality and doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I go through my sessions, and if I drive somewhere, I'll sometimes eating in the car,
Of
so that
course.
there I can fit in another session for somebody, or I can fit in something for the team and when they need it. And I think my mantra for consistency is that do it think of your life as a sheet of paper every day. And if you're consistent, every day you'll have a sheet of paper, and then you'll have a book. And don't try to achieve so much in one day. What will keep you in a place of continued success
Yeah.
is being in a place where people count on you and you continually come through. And even if it's just a small thing. And when they start to count on you, you can now be in a position to really serve.
Yeah. That's amazing. When it comes to nutrition, well,
Yes.
I think that there's been a lot of, are you paleo, are you keto, vegetarian?
Yes.
What are your thoughts in terms of, and everybody's a little different, but in terms of nutrition, what are some principles that you follow and that you would kind of, give to clients?
So, big picture, I think you said a couple of things. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
And within my training and within advice I give, even if it's not has to do with training, it just has to do with life. It's all, I look at the person and I assess the person. And I give them suggestions based off the success level. So I don't necessarily give them the perfect nutrition program. I give them the best nutrition program that they can try to do that is achievable for the goal they want to get to.
Gotcha.
So taking that into consideration, the thing that becomes the most consistent, my big picture for me personally,
Yeah.
I've worked with clients that are vegan. I work with clients that, like to eat a lot of meat. I have clients that have a blend of carbs. I have clients that are keto. What I always suggest is that, when they do ask me for their help on that,
Yeah.
I just say, I think of things in balance. I don't know. karma is a thing for me. And so I think you shouldn't eliminate anything from your diet. I think everything's in moderation.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have too much. I personally feel like you should have too much meat, but you can have too much of one thing, you know, if you get, so it's about having balance, because nutrient comes from a lot of things. I believe in nutrient dense foods. I feel like the things that I want people to do is reduce their sugar, drink
Yes.
a lot of water. So these are the kind, if I was going to give you the keys is water, water, sugar, reduce that, high dense nutrient foods,
Yes.
and schedule in appropriate treats, and try to find those, that last one is try to get to a point where those treats are either minimal or they're highly nutrient, because there are ways to do that too, you know, to have really fresh strawberries and do something kind of cool with that. Or you know, if you're gonna have a treat, have a treat. Like I don't like low fat, no fat yogurt. If you're gonna have yogurt, get whole fat, just
Yeah.
have a little bit less. It's
Yep.
just gonna taste better, you know. If you're gonna use butter, use butter. You know, don't use any fake stuff. But you know, you might not need a whole stick. You know, it's like it's kind of that thing, because at the end of the day, you want to find things that are sustainable. But the
Great.
two things, if the only thing I would say I'm stricter on, if you want to really kind of get right, is to pull as much sugar out of yourself and then drink plenty of water.
That's amazing. I think it's so true to your point too, is if it's not sustainable, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you like nutrient wise, this is like the perfect program for
Yeah.
you. And there's some clients that will take that, and they will weigh their food. They will be meticulous on eating exactly what you ask them to eat. And so for those people, I
Yeah.
will give them the perfect nutrition thing. But within that, sometimes you lose other aspects. You know, when you have to be that meticulous, you take away time to prep that food. There also is a reduction in able to be social, because usually
Of course.
in that perfect program is less alcohol. So I
Yeah.
say that part is important, that social aspect, having that balance, social, physical, mental, you know, all those different aspects. You want to have a balance within what you do. And if the program is so specific to just nutrition, it might take away too much from another aspect.
Yeah, because as we never had a chance to really talk, I just, I noted some questions for you. I really wanted to know a little bit more about, your fitness life journey before Calistoga Fit. What did
Yeah.
you do? How it's, you built such an amazing community, and at the same time it's a beautiful company because you're doing a lot of things. You have a gym, you have a yoga fitness studio, you have all those partnerships with the hotels, you have the on-demand platform on internet, so that's a lot. I really wanted to know, all the journey towards that.
Yeah. I will say the the thing that kind of got me into fitness and being a trainer, one of the is two kind of advice things I got when I was younger. One was I knew I wanted to kind of get into this industry when I was in high school. I was our basketball team had a trainer to kind of get us ready for our senior season, or my senior season, and in doing that, I got stronger, I got faster, all the things that you kind of hope for as an athlete. And then our English teacher asked us to interview somebody who had a job that we thought was interesting. And so I decided to interview him, the trainer who was working with us, and found out I played baseball when I was in high school and college, and found out that he played baseball. He went to the University of Florida. I grew up in I went to high school in Northern Virginia, really close to DC. So I found out through him, like he got his undergrad in kinesiology and exercise science, and he got his master's in exercise physiology. So I pretty much did the same thing. And I was like, I knew I kind of like, what's the roadmap? Tell me what the roadmap is.
Yeah.
I did that. And then I think what kind of came to the diversity of what our company is now, some of it came to the diversity of experiences I had. So while I was going to school for that, in essence, 6 years from undergrad to graduate school, I had, my jobs were working at like the hospital during the summer breaks, working as a telemetry tech, which is the person who watches the heart rates and stuff like that for the people in the cardiac ward, to cardiac rehab, to a sports performance center where I was training professional athletes, to when I was in graduate school, being a fitness director of a gym that had personal training, to being a recreation director of a medical school that had a satellite school in Atlanta when I was there for graduate school.
Okay.
So all of that kind of, you got medical, you got.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, you got gym, you got that. And then I got recruited out here to work at Solage to start their program. And so that kind of took me into the hotel side of things. And so I really got to understand that part of it. And then when I was ready to do my own thing, my goal was to have a diverse type of offering and take advantage of what we had in the area and whatever we could do to make Napa Valley a kind of wellness and health destination. I know it's going to be second to wine and food, but long as it's a close second, that's what I wanted to try to do.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, that's a great idea because, I think you're the only one to offer so many things. And to work with so many hotels and have such a nice ranges of classes too, because it comes from spin to yoga and to all those different workouts. Like I was seeing, I don't know, yesterday, like how, like running tips or, skiing tips. Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
no, it's we're trying to just kind of be really well-rounded. And I think obviously now most of our content is digital, it's through Zoom or through FaceTime or through social media or internet stuff. But we just want to be diverse to be able to, like, if we really I kind of think of it, look at the person, the instructor, the client, the member, the hotel guest, and serve them and see what their talent is as an instructor. And I wouldn't think to go into doing certain things, but if the instructor has that talent, I want them to be able to share that. So
speaking of this, I have a question. What are like the skills you're searching for a fitness yoga instructor for you? Just if you can give me your like perfect profile of a trainer. Yeah.
A perfect profile of a trainer. That's a good question. Yeah. I think the number one thing is kind of, well, I'd say the top things that I care about before you even get to skill is warmth.
Okay.
And I would say the just the personality, be able to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you get in a room with people, when you're needed to be a leader, you can be a leader. When you're needed to be a listener, you're able to be a listener. And I would say that part, and the ability to just kind of get along with people, I would say like that's the most important part. And then the second thing is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of told the team, you know, who worked with me, one of the things I pride myself on is just being there, just showing up. It's kind of saying the same things to my clients. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get results even if you just show up, even if you can't give it all your all that day. Showing up and just kind of being there, because usually what happens is you actually will show up once you're there.
Yeah.
And so the consistency, and when you get to a point where people can rely on you,
Mm-hmm.
then that's when it's golden. They're going to work with you. They're going to cherish your skill. They're going to keep feeding your skill and give you more opportunity for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to the skill portion, is the ability to be able to digest sometimes complicated movement or concepts,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to translate it. I think translate is a good word for us right now.
Yeah.
So to be able to translate it in a way like you're doing in this interview, translate your life, is translated in a way where that person gets it. It sinks quickly. It sinks with ease and warmth, and and motivation.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah. So that I think that's kind of the way I kind of think of the person.
It was a great answer. It's a perfect answer. Yeah.